You just landed in.
Wait,
Where
where
are
are
we
we
again?
again?
Thank you for listening to us again. And today we are going to talk about how to integrate yourself to a new culture, a new country. So, Agi, where did you struggle the most at first?
Yeah, hello guys, and welcome again in a new podcast episode. So I think for me the hardest was the very first time when I moved abroad. When you realize that you're not going to return for quite some time, and I when I moved to the UK, I think I realized that it was a bit tough to kind of leave your family behind and all your good friends, and you kind of know that you're not going to see them as often anymore. So that was a bit tough. And I have to say, the first half year, so it took some time to kind of be comfortable with being so far away from them. Um, so for me, that was the first move was tough, and then of course after the second one and the third move, it was completely fine. It didn't. It's not like I was completely heartless, but at the, I had no one to move or leave behind, like family anymore. I kind of built a routine to see my family on a regular basis and keep touch with them on the phone. So to be honest, nowadays I think it's quite easy with the digital world, and yeah, and I'm also not super far to visit them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what do you think is it possible to completely integrate yourself to a new culture?
very good question. Uh, I believe it depends on how long you are in a country. Um, it is, and also if maybe the question is also if your partner is coming from your own culture, or you find a partner, for example, in the country where you go, um, because in my case now, I live in Denmark and my partner is Danish, so it helps a lot to integrate myself. I don't have a way out. I think when you don't necessarily have a need to hang out with the locals, you can tend to go with a comfortable way, to either go with people from your own culture or with other expats who are a little bit more open also to spend time with you. But when your partner is Danish and your and their family is from the same place, I mean, it's unavoidable. I have to learn
Yeah.
to integrate myself. But and I have to say, I will always identify myself as a Hungarian person because I've been born and raised in Hungary, so I think it's very hard to leave that behind. So you may kind of fit yourself as much as possible into the culture, but identifying yourself to culture, I think it will be hard to change. Um,
Yeah. If you move as an adult, I think you're never gonna change it. I mean, you always gonna identify yourself as
mm,
you as Hungarian, even if you live in Denmark now,
seven,
almost 10 years
seven
or
years.
7 years,
Yeah,
and yeah, you have a Danish
yeah,
boyfriend, you speak the language, but you say, okay, I'm Hungarian.
yeah,
um, yeah,
yeah.
I
Because we are
have read some
different.
researches and yeah, I've read some researches about that, and it said that um, you never really like 100% you're not gonna integrate. It's I guess for maybe for some people it's possible, depends also the people, but usually, and maybe if you move when you are a kid, maybe you are a really
Mm,
young kid and you move abroad,
yeah.
then it could be, but otherwise, it's always yeah, but you need to just make an effort and try to integrate
Mm.
yourself as much as possible.
So, what
um
was your trick when you moved to Mauritius? What were the first things you were doing?
well, actually, to be honest, we rather like we are hanging out with expats and some Hungarians as well.
Mm,
For us, well, it's a bit different, because anyway, we had some Hungarian friends, even like we knew them before we moved here. So obviously, we still hanging out with them, and there are many Hungarians here, and also a lot of expats. So you're not forced to hang out with locals because you have so many expats that you can, and it's a bit easier to hang out with them because you have something in common. You are kind of, outsiders,
Mm,
so you have the same like kind of problems to trying to fit
yeah.
into this country. So and with the locals here, well, we have some friends, or from school. For example, my daughter has local classmates and friends, so we know the parents, but it's harder to hang out with them. I think it's because of really really different culture, so it's
Mm.
maybe in Europe you don't feel that much. I'm not sure, but here you feel it's really hard to. I mean, they are friendly, they are really really
Mm.
friendly people. It just you feel like it's hard to get to know them better and to just be friends. And
But don't you think it's
um
the case? Because if I'm just like, if I would be on the other side, and let's say I'm living in my own country and I have my own group of friends, and all of a sudden, a foreigner girl who is maybe really friendly, starts to be more open or want to hang out with us, we not necessarily would invite her into our regular meetups or things, and not because we don't like her, it's just simply we have our core group. um, but of course, if she would be the one initiating, we probably would be open for it. And I think that's probably the same for all of the other locals where we experience to be on that side. Like here, when I met with some Danish people in the beginning when I moved here, and I moved together with this Danish girl, and I met with her friends. And she was extremely nice. I think she even welcomed me to her parents' home to spend a weekend there. We slept over, and so actually she was extremely open and nice. But I think in general, they have their core group of friends, and I think it's very hard to be just the same member as someone you grew up with. um you know because we have so little history, and I completely understand that.
yeah,
That it's just simply not the same, and I think us foreigners have to put so much time and effort to build those connections. And maybe even if we do our best, and even if we very well click, it may never gonna be as strong as the other relationships they have, which they built for a long time, right? um but how would you feel
yeah,
if,
you
if,
have to
if
fight
yeah,
for that.
yeah, exactly. But
Well, yeah,
let's say,
maybe we should try.
but you lived
Yeah,
in Hungary for a bit longer than I did, right? And we worked in a multinational company, so we had a very multicultural environment. And I remember where we worked, there were a lot of nationalities working. So did you? Because now I'm just curious. Did you have any expats or like any of these foreigners, having a close relationship with you more than just hanging out in the office or in the bar? But
yeah.
did you have? I mean, unless they initiated, right?
Yeah, I think, as I remember, like, most of the expats, they were hanging out with with the other expats, not with the Hungarians.
Yeah, exactly.
But actually, the other company I worked for, and we had an expat, and I remember when he joined, like we thought, oh, we should invite him. Let's
Mm.
try to, make him to be, easier to fit in. And so we were like, oh, yeah, come, let's have a drink. So sometimes, yeah, you feel, yeah, if you're open for that, you try to, make a move and help
Mm.
the foreigner because for them, you are in a different country, you're new, for example, in a new workplace, and it's sometimes it's just really hard to make this movement to okay go there and say, oh guys, do you want to go and grab a drink after work, you know. I mean, it's hard if you, and especially maybe you don't speak their language, or so it's really hard.
And also sometimes you just don't want to be too pushy, you know, like, okay, do they really
Yeah.
want to hang out with me? I don't know. Do they really like me? I don't know. Like you have all these
Yeah.
question marks in your head. So it makes you sometimes a bit
Exactly.
uncomfortable, you know, to ask them, hey, you want to hang out? You want to go for dinner? You want to, you know, do something together?
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah, you don't want to be too pushy because then they're gonna think like, oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that's
But
true. Yeah.
but you were hanging out with the expats, and how did you meet with the expats?
You mean here in
Mm,
Mauritius? Well, yeah, I think I mentioned before, like I joined some expat groups on the internet. You can find many. So this is how I started to do the sports together and go to events together.
mm,
So I think it's a good opportunity to join a community, and yeah, if you perhaps like if you do a sport,
mm,
it's a good way
yeah.
to socialize and to meet new people. Um, and yeah, basically,
Mm, yeah. I think I think the first thing I did when I moved to, and that's particularly Denmark, because Denmark also is a place where I think in general a bit harder to, you know, make friendships. People are a little bit more reserved. The first thing I did was that I registered on Facebook groups like Expats in Copenhagen, Expats in Denmark, and there are millions of these groups. And at the time, I was also a member of Internations, which is organizing different social activities for expats. So I went to some of those activities as well, and actually, I kind of found friends through both the Facebook group and both um, the internations. Um, but then it's a matter of, you know, can you retain those relationship? Are the people are, you know, similar ages, you similar background, and it doesn't necessarily have to be actually similar background or similar age, because I hanged out with people, younger people and also older people, and um, it's just like, do you have similar interests and hobbies? And we went together to play volleyball. I never really played volleyball before. We
yeah,
started, and I
same.
started to play beach volleyball. I know I was not very good at it, but they were really nice and patient with me. I was trying my best. Um, and then I found some friends there, and we were hanging out together, and with some girls and guys, and actually we had a lot of fun in the summertime as
Yeah,
well, hanging out together. And then somehow by time we kind of this group kind of fall apart. You know, everyone started to do their things. I was moving from one place to another. I got busy with my own, you know, sorting out my own apartment, and they also went to travel a bit around the world and then back, and it just you know, and once when you have kind of a you build some kind of connections, but it's not super deep, you know, as like a
yeah,
friendship you built, you know, when you grow up. And then when you go bit away, even if they return, you may never gonna continue the same
yeah.
place, because simply it was just not that strong
Not that
before.
strong.
Doesn't
Yeah,
mean you didn't like those people, but it just simply it's just a different type of connection, I think. So it's a little bit harder to build that really good deep relationship, to really feel that deep trust in the other person,
yeah.
and then click with the other person. And you know, some people you have good relationship, but we can be culturally
But
different. Like, as I said, like we are more like the southern style Spanish Italian. We are very direct in communication. We can be loud, we can be very outspoken, and you don't know if the other person can handle it, or it can be too much for some people. That's how it is, and that's okay. And then of course, then you will, yeah. Then it's also hard to
You
have
will
that.
act a little bit differently, no?
Yeah,
Like
because
you don't want to give yourself sometimes because you are afraid that maybe it's too much for
yeah,
the other person
exactly.
because you don't know their culture.
So you tone yourself down a
Yeah,
lot. And I actually figured out myself, like when I was an expat, I really toned my personality down, like first just to observe. And I think that can be a good advice for everyone. Just first observe your environment, how the people are, what is the norm there, like, um, because things what we think is okay maybe not be okay
yeah,
for the culture you go in. And then once you observe, then you can see, how much of yourself you can release, or what they are happy to take in. And if
yeah.
it's in the same level as you are, even better. And it doesn't mean that they would not be open for it, of course, but it's always good to test the water a bit first, before you just pour all your
Not to
drama.
be yourself first and scare them away immediately.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
No,
Mm.
it's good if you can be. I mean, to be with people, you can be yourself because it's not good if you are not yourself. You're trying to be somebody else just to fit in.
Yeah,
I mean, after a while, it will be, just really tiring and overwhelming, and
yeah,
So, but yeah, at the beginning, maybe it's good to just to observe and see the environment and the culture.
yeah. And it can
And
take
it's
some
funny that you
time.
mentioned,
Al-
yeah,
Also,
yeah,
just
of
figure
course.
out, do I actually really like those people or not? Because
Yeah,
some,
so should I just search for other
yeah,
friends?
exactly. Suddenly you just observe and observe, and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm not really liking
But you
that
will
much.
find, eventually you will find
Yeah,
those people. Like it's funny that you mentioned the beach volleyball because I did the same. It's so funny. You did in Denmark and I did it in Mauritius.
yeah, yeah,
So to go to play beach volleyball, and
yeah,
this is how I met some people, and I was not really good at volleyball, but it was a really good way to
yeah,
meet people. And then later on, we went to other events together. So
yeah.
yeah, sport can be. I think it's a really good way of meeting people, and yeah, if you have a same hobby, usually you have something in common at least,
Mm,
so it helps a lot. And also with expat, I think, yeah, to being friends with expats, it's hard because at least here in Mauritius, like many, like some people just come here for 3 or 4 years,
mm,
or even less, maybe 1 year.
yeah.
Some people are changing quite often, so maybe you find somebody, a good
Wow.
friend, but then after a while, 1 year, oh, we are going back to our place, or to our own country, or to another country,
Yeah,
and then you have to find again somebody else. And at least here, it's people are like changing quite often, so it's also, I think it's a hard part because usually expats like that, like
yeah,
you're not mm, you're not settling. Okay, for you different, you kind of you settle down in Denmark, but before you, okay, you moved to Germany a little bit and you moved to London, so you needed to find your place. So I think it's common for these people who are like willing to travel. This is their life, and they want to have adventures, so they not necessarily stay in one country. They want to explore other countries as well, so it could be also an issue.
yeah. And actually, that was very much a typical situation in London for us, where we had, oh my God, I had so many friends there. I mean, London is a place where it's so easy to make friends because there are so many expats, so many foreigners. Where I worked, yeah, I had so many friends from there, a lot of like young people, similar spirit. Of course, hanged out with a huge group of Italians, and there was a girl from Argentina, French guy. Yeah, we had a very mixed cultural group, and we were a few Hungarians actually. So, but we were hanging out all the time, and it was the best group. Oh my God, we had so much fun, and we were together 24/7. Um, and I remember when I decided to leave London, and I don't remember who was the first who said who was gonna move. Um, But I think we said goodbye from the Argentinian friend of mine because she we knew she's going back to Argentina. And then I was like, okay, I wanted to leave London as well. Then this opportunity came to Denmark, so I said, okay, I'm gonna leave. So we had all these farewell parties, and
Mm.
then our Italian friend, she also said, okay, I'm gonna go back to Italy as well. So we were like, okay, we are all leaving London now. So we were like, I remember we were like three girls, very good friends. She invited us over to Italy to their place, and then we had like an amazing summer holiday together, as a goodbye. And we are still following each other on social media, but of course, now my Argentinian friend, she's in living in the Netherlands. My Italian one is in Italy, and she got family now, and now, yeah, I'm in Denmark. So it's also amazing. I think it's so nice that you can follow these people's life, even though they live so far away. And I'm sure that if we would ever meet, we would still have, the um, same relationship.
Yeah.
But somehow it's just different. We don't talk every day, so it's of course it's loosening a little bit during the years. Of course, they got family and a life as well, so it's changing the situation a bit. Yeah, but what I could suggest, I think, when if you really want to integrate yourself, is to try to pick up some of the routines of the locals. So again, just to try to live that life there. And now I will bring as an example Denmark, because it's very um, it's a very unique way of living. I remember when I moved to Denmark, they said, "Okay, Agnes, you need to get a bike because here everyone is biking," and it's so true. Like when you're looking at the bike lanes, because and that's the amazing thing in Copenhagen. And I don't dare to say that it's in whole Denmark, but in whole Copenhagen, but I think it's almost 80 or 90% of Denmark has bicycle roads everywhere, which means you have your own traffic lamp and all kinds of separate lanes for the bikers. So it's super nice. But I have to say, like, when it's a peak time, mornings, and then late afternoons after work, the road by the bike roads look like Tour de France, like a huge crowd of bikers going, and they are racing each other. Okay, not like that, but they're going really fast. Yeah. So I remember when I first looked at the bike road, and I was like, okay, I need to somehow get into that lane and stay there without falling or causing some kind of accident. They have all these rules with the hands to show if you want to stop or you turn left or right or whatever. Um, it was a little bit dangerous, but first thing, when I went to get a bike, and I kind of went over my fear, and I got a helmet on, which I never wore before when I was biking, and I started biking, and I'm actually super happy I did it, because then you really feel integrated, that you go everywhere with a bike, and that you are part of that lifestyle, and you start loving it, and you're like, wow, this is actually super nice that you're biking everywhere. It's so easy and quick, and everyone is doing it. So I think it's nice to pick up some local habits, and I don't know what special habits people have in Mauritius, or if there is any, and it doesn't have to be transportation, or how you pick up the food, or you pick up pineapples from the beach or whatever. I don't know. Is there anything like that in Mauritius?
Uh, well, maybe like this lifestyle, or this really like slowing down
Mm.
and not to hurry, not to stress about things, which is kind of a challenge for me. And think I think most of the people who comes from like a bigger city where it's really vibrant and crowded, and here is just everything is slow and
Yeah.
and people like when in the road they are stopping on the road just that somebody could get out of the car, and it's just if it happens in Budapest, then they will like honk and shout at you, and he's just but now I'm used to it. I don't honk or anything. I'm just waiting.
Yeah.
Okay, I know I need to wait, and then they will go again. And So you just yeah, here you need to slow down, which is like I'm trying to do. It's I don't think I'm never gonna I don't think I ever gonna reach that point that the locals has, that really really relaxed um s- status, but I'm trying.
It's funny because somehow the Nordics, because normally it's kind of a thing in the hot countries, right? That people are a bit more chilled and they are slowing down a bit. They have a different mindset, but it is a little bit the same with the cold countries. Because also, and I don't know about Finland, but Sweden and Denmark for sure. That everything is like, don't worry, you have the time. Or if someone is kind of acting out of, yeah, they are acting a bit crazy, instead of judging them that, oh my god, this person is crazy, they would just say, oh, probably they have a bad day, or oh, then they must have a hard time, or whatever, like feel sorry about the person. So it's you start to pick up those way of thinking as well, and you kind of like it, because it can be nice to be patient, it can be nice to be understanding. And at first you're a bit like, what is this? And you kind of
Yeah,
like go with it, and then you feel that, okay, this is actually a very mature way of thinking. So that can be nice. And of course, in a way, our way, which is this Hungarian, that you know you would start making fun of things or whatever, but it can kind of give some spice to life. Sometimes I feel like we are a bit more spicy in terms of thinking and reactions. So that is kind of making it a little bit, how to say, not boring, but I think the Nordic mindset is a little bit more um yeah, chill,
not that colorful.
not
Yeah.
that colorful. Ours is, and sometimes I feel like they are making drama for themselves, because life is just too simple and nothing is happening, and so they need to do
It's
some
too
drama
perfect.
to
Too perfect. You need drama or
yeah, exactly.
something. Yeah.
Exactly. But I kind of sometimes I miss a little bit of this, and that's why I said that your real identity will stay with you. Like when we hang out with
Yeah.
each other, like we are laughing so much, and we are making so many jokes, and probably people think we are crazy. But it just I just love that spice a bit. That we have a bit more life in the conversations, and it's not about having the proper way of communication or um, thinking, but it's just to have fun. And I think we are probably good at that. And that is, of
That's
course,
for sure.
doesn't show all the time to in front of the other culture, because you just don't show that face necessarily, which is very interesting. Maybe better.
Yeah. Yeah, if
Yeah.
you wanna fit into the new culture, yeah, sometimes you need to hide this, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
and also, well, we talked about language barriers a little bit, I think, before
Mhm.
in other episodes, because I think it's also a really, really big part of integration, actually, because actually here, when we arrived, it was really like a big shock for me that, okay, I thought it's okay, English is the official language, so I will be
Oh.
okay. But then it's just everyone like say hello in French, and then in the store, in the supermarket, everything is in French, all the labels, and the radio is in French, and all the advertisements on the road. And it's like, okay, this is not in English and I don't speak French. So it was yeah, it was kind of a shock, and you don't feel good when you
Mm.
don't understand anything. It's and also I think the locals, they accept you b- easier
Yeah.
if they can speak their own language. And
Yeah, for sure.
but here they have their local language and plus French. So I started to learn French, because like even when I went here, is many there are French expats a lot. And I went to these events and everyone was talking in French, because for the locals, French is much easier than English, I
Yeah.
think, because their language is really like similar to French. So it's just everyone was talking in French, and like I was just standing there, not understanding anything, smiling, and then you feel like,
Smiling
what
always
the hell
works.
I'm doing here? Yeah, it's like, I don't understand anything. What the hell are you talking about? I have no idea. So and then you don't feel good, and you feel like, oh my god, how I'm gonna fit in here.
Yeah. You know
I think it's
what this reminds
yeah,
me?
it's nice to
Just a funny story. I remember when we worked at this company still in Budapest, and okay, I don't completely remember, but there was a new leader or just a visitor. I'm not sure, but he was Scottish, and he was coming to the office, and we went out for dinner. And I remember he had such a strong Scottish accent that we were really starting to understand him. And then when we went for dinner, everyone tried to avoid to sit next to him because no one
oh
understood him. So then, of course, I was, when I'm in a social environment, I'm just like, whoever is coming in my way, I just start chatting, and I don't really like everyone strategically moved. I didn't. So then all of a sudden, I could just see everyone sit down, and there was only one place left next to him, and I was just thinking, "Oh my god, I will have to sit through the whole dinner next to him, and I don't understand the word he's saying." Oh my god! And I remember I was talking about he was asking about the Hungarian spas, and I just simply could not understand the way how pronounced. I don't know if he said bath or spa, bath, and I thought he's talking about pubs, and I was like, bar, pub, what? And I remember I had to ask like
oh.
5 times until I understood that okay, he's actually interested in bars, not in pubs. Oh my god! So yeah,
You
that's
just
can
ask
be.
him, can you please spell the
I
word?
remember I was sweating there, and it's always a good strategy if you don't understand, you just smile. The problem is if
Yeah,
they
you
ask a question and
smile
you
and
still
nod.
just smile.
Yeah, you have to answer that.
Yeah,
Or you should just start talking about
yeah,
something and just talking, talk, so
yeah,
he cannot talk. Oh,
yeah. So that's
yeah.
yeah, that can be funny actually when you when you don't understand each other properly, and it happens with me a lot with Danish as well. That if I try to speak, because I actually I really really well understand now everything, but if I try to speak, a lot of the times I can see the confused face on the other side. Like they want to be nice and they don't say like what are you talking about, but I can see on the face
Oh,
like
they pretend they understand.
exactly, but I can see they have no clue what I'm talking about. And then I'm like, okay, I'm trying to explain, we went to like pick yourself strawberry and peas the weekend. And we went with my boyfriend's parents and his daughter. And I was talking about to them like, we've been here last year as well, and they also had the green peas, but now there are no peas this year for some reason. But I could see the peas and the Danish word. I'm gonna say, don't laugh, guys. Erte, erte. Probably I wrongly pronounce it. Um, he didn't understand, and I was like, okay, I can see his face. I was like, this green thing, that you can eat. It can. I was like, okay, if someone is from the outside looking at me trying to explain in Danish what is a green pea, oh my god, I was just laughing inside. I was like, oh my god, this can be such a disaster. Sometimes I wish if I could just, but luckily I can't switch back to English because his father doesn't speak English. So I really left with the Danish. Which is good sometimes, but yeah, it can be really awkward that when you're trying to explain something and they just simply don't understand your pronunciation. And Danish is so hard, like, oh, they're speaking from the throat. But because I went
Oh,
to a Danish language course, and I remember there was one class when the teacher asked me to repeat one word, like I'm not lying to you, like at least 5-10 minutes. It was just me trying to pronounce the same word because I just could not pronounce it.
oh.
International, and the way how they say they have these airs from the throat, and I just like, okay, no normal human is speaking from the throat. Like it's just so hard. It's just so hard. I was really struggling. So of course still when I'm trying to speak Danish, and that's why I don't really push it much to speak because I know they don't understand me. My pronunciation is just very bad.
Yeah, you feel
Yeah,
more comfortable with English, and if you don't have to, obviously you will use English.
yeah.
So,
But it depends on the
but it's good that
person.
when you're forced
Yeah.
to speak, yeah,
Normally, older people are good to understand me. They are maybe also more open, or maybe they just go with the flow, and they are always anyway
yeah,
talk
they
about
pretend
something.
that they
Yeah, they
understand.
just continue talking even if they don't understand. So, guys, if you move, hang out with older people. If you're trying to practice your own language or their local language, yeah, I think my boyfriend speaks so fast Danish, and he was grown up in the city. So I don't know, like people say that you can understand the people from Copenhagen easier, but it's so not true. I can't understand a word he says. So no, sometimes I do, but it's tough, and it's normal to be tough. So it will be years and years of practice. So I think what is important is not to giving up, trying.
Yeah,
So I think that's
you
good.
need to put the effort, energy, and yeah, don't give it up.
And even if you know that you don't sound good, you still try. I actually try sometimes to speak Danish, and they just immediately talk back to me in English because they can
Mm.
hear they can hear my strong accent.
They can hear that. Yeah.
I was trying to order sour candy, sur slick in Danish, which doesn't sound so hard, but she just didn't understand, and I was like, "Sur slick! I just want sur slick! Just give me that sur slick!" Um, yeah, it's just sometimes I was like, "Okay, are they?" And then I get frustrated sometimes. Same with my boyfriend. Like I was like, "Why are you doing this in me? How can you not understand what I'm trying to say?" Okay,
Yeah.
temperament, but yeah,
Yeah.
it can happen, and just need to try again. Yeah. Yes. So the language is good to learn. It's always good to learn, and it can be fun. It can be really fun on the way. It can be annoying sometimes, but it also can be fun. So that's okay, I think.
Yeah, you need to push yourself to do it. It's even if it's hard.
Yeah. But I think
Yeah.
overall, if I have to summarize, like what is the kind of the key to integrate yourself is energy and effort. Don't just hang out with your own family or nationality. Push yourself a bit and go and meet with the locals or other experts even. Try out their local traditions and food and habits, and try to sit in a language course and learn their language. And there are so many ways to learn a language for free, so you don't need money for it necessarily. And also in Denmark you can learn it for free, but there are so many apps like Duolingo where you can practice
Yeah.
language.
Now you have apps, YouTube, Netflix, just watch a movie. Yeah, it's
And there are a lot of the times there are these groups actually in countries where you can there are these groups in Denmark as well, where you can go in a bar and the locals would talk to you in their own language. So they kind of already
wow.
prepared themselves to, try to understand struggling foreigners trying to speak their own language. Um,
Yeah.
so there are so many ways which are free, but it's just energy. And I know it's tough because you will have these up and downs. So sometimes you're like, okay, I'm so fed up with this, I'm done with this. But then take a break and then try it again, because then you will always meet with new people, and your mood will change. And once you have a little success, then you feel so good. um Same with making friends. You may not find the perfect people around you who you can click with, but then once you meet with just one person who is like clicking with you so well, then you have a best buddy to hang out with. So just don't give it up.
Yeah, it might take years to
Yeah,
integrate in a new country. So it's not so fast and not
yeah,
so easy.
yeah,
Maybe it seems easy, but no, it's
yeah,
not. So I think yeah, you just need to give yourself time
yeah,
and try it
yeah.
hard.
And then you will feel so good afterwards, I tell you. So it's worth to do it. You will feel so good, and it gives you in so many different way very good feeling, because first success for yourself, that okay, I could manage to learn a language, or just learn to like their local food, which is for me rubro was tough. This brown bread. It's at first it's tough, but then you learn to like it somehow, and then it's just so nice that you can enjoy the same things as the locals enjoy in the country where you live. Um, and even like simple things like dressing, I learned to dress more like the Danes. And in the beginning, I was like, what? A dress with sneakers? Oh my God. And these dresses with the little flowers, which for me at first was a bit like, okay, this is my grandma's outfit with the flowery flowery dresses and the sneakers. That's exactly how my grandma is dressing. But you start to like it, and you start to appreciate it. And yeah, and then now I'm wearing the same stuff. So it's be open for it, because you just need to learn to see the value in those things. So don't reject it immediately. That would be my recommendation.
Yeah, be curious and open.
Yeah.
That's important. Okay, I think we can close our episode for today.
Yes, and don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel, on our Spotify channel, and also social media like Instagram and Facebook, where we also share some fun things and pictures from the countries. So come and visit our social media sites as well. Thank you, guys. Bye.